Hello again, everyone. Edwin Martin back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe, in a belated version, what I believe are going to be the richest, wealthiest zodiac signs for 2024. Sorry, this is belated, but here we go. When it does apply to the sun, moon, and ascendant, well, the first sign, naturally, I'm going to go with is going to be Taurus because transit Jupiter is going to be in Taurus and Gemini in this year 2024, and Jupiter is about prosperity and affluence. It's going, you know, to being, being in Taurus. It will be in Taurus's own sign, and then when it's in Gemini, it's going to be, in the second house for many, at least for part of the transit. And the thing about it is, in the second house is, governs monetary, financial matters, and just money in general. And this is really, as far as what I'm referring to is really mainly, just monetary wealth. It doesn't mean it can't manifest in other ways, and people got to be careful too. Like, transit Jupiter is hitting one's Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. If it's making a conjunction to it, that it could also enlarge and expand. I've talked about Jupiter before, is that it could be very paradoxical, it could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also enlarge and expand issues, and that could be the waistline as well, because the sun and the ascendant have a connection with the physical body. The moon does govern and rules the stomach, so and its food. So you have to just be careful at this time, Taurus. But it could be a very good year of abundance for you. And the thing also is now another sign which I would say could be, very could become wealthy and rich. At least on average, more so than a number of the other zodiac signs, is Gemini because, transit Jupiter will be in Gemini's own sign for part of the year, and especially if it's making a conjunction, during that time to one's Gemini Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. It's going to be conjoining my Gemini Moon, and it's also going to be hitting my Taurus Ascendant. So I'm being hopeful and optimistic. Jupiter is about that hope and optimism that this will be an auspicious year for me. So the thing about this is that, for Gemini, again, the fact that it's going to be, in its own sign, Gemini could be, make, do something, have certain prosperity, affluence, and wealth. But it could be, through doing, manifold things. Gemini is versatile. It may be through doing, manifold work and professions, or something with manual dexterity. Um, Jupiter, if it's hitting, especially if it's conjoining one's Gemini Sun during this time, and it'll be more about the person's life in general. And if it's hitting one's Gemini Ascendant, well, it's, a lot of it can be connected with new beginnings, and for Gemini, and the thing is too. To look, when you look at this transit as well, another sign that could, experience, greater than average, prosperity, wealth, and affluence during, Jupiter, traversing, Taurus and Gemini in 2024. I would say could be Sagittarius because Sagittarius can have, during the time that it's in Jupiter, in Taurus and Gemini, many Sagittarians will experience this in the solar or natal sixth house for at least some of the period. And the thing is, in sixth house governs employment and work. So this could be a time where Sagittarius may, remember that Jupiter can enlarge and expand, and the fact is it can enlarge work-related matters, more work, but it can also give, more prosperity and affluence during this period. It might be a time, during the time when Jupiter is in Gemini, it could be a time where Sagittarius may be called upon to do, manifold things at their place of employment. If I be, Mr. or Mrs. Versatility, and you might feel like you're an octopus. You have only 2 arms. You may feel like you're supposed to have 8 or something. But the key about this too, and Jupiter being transiting Gemini, it's about not dissipating oneself through lack of it, and integrating purpose and spreading oneself too thin. And Sagittarius needs to be careful at this time that at their place of employment that he or she doesn't do so, and that But when Jupiter's in Taurus, it can give more persistence naturally, in work-related matters of Sagittarius, for Sagittarians that have, the transit in the 6th house in Taurus, and many will have that, during this year in 2024. So, but another sign that I would say, could have good, terms of prosperity, affluence, wealth, riches, for 2024 can be Leo, because the 10th house, is going to be prominent at this time with Jupiter, because Jupiter, during the time, that it's in Taurus, and Jupiter will be in Taurus and Gemini in 2024, and many Leo people, the solar and natal charts will have that in the 10th house of career. And many Leos may, it's not just, really, a lot of it can be about wealth in one's career and prosperity in one's vocation, but also too, the stature in life and social status. This could be a very propitious and auspicious transit, as far as that goes for Leo. And during the time, Leo experiences, it being in Taurus, for those Leos out there experience it in Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus during the transit in the 10th house. It could be just, by, simply a lot of the positivity with Jupiter can come by being, just persistent, patient, persevering in matters pertaining to one's career. Tenacity can go a long way in the stick-to-itiveness in career-related matters, making sure one follows through on things. But another thing, though, is when it's in Gemini, even though that could still be prosperous if it's traversing the 10th house for Leo, but at the same time, it can be, where Leo may be called to do, many manifold different things that are business or career related, and it may be, prosperity just by doing many different things, and Leo may not, necessarily be used to doing those things, and just guard against, again, the spreading oneself too thin, in this area in life. But again, it could be a very prosperous and propitious time for promotions, raises, improving the social status and stature in life for Leo at this time. But as I stated before, Jupiter, again, it is very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand, and it can enlarge just the workload one may have to endure in one's career at this time for Leo. So, but what I want to close with on this really is just the fact that, even if you don't have, your sun, moon, or ascendant in one of these signs, it doesn't mean that things, will not be prosperous, because, you got to keep in mind, Jupiter also, like say for the zodiac sign Cancer, Jupiter is going to, will be making a sextile to, many people's Cancer, sun, moon, and ascendant at this time. And also people can be benefited by having a Jupiter return. Jupiter making a sextile or trine to one's natal ascendant, natal Venus, could be, as far as, having certain propensity for money and wealth. That's another, transit that people can look at in terms of, in terms of making money and be having a prosperous 2024. Um, transit, and also, wherever the house is in Jupiter, when it transits in 2024, this is the area. It reflects the area or sector of life in which one, can be affluent, prosperous, where it could be very auspicious. If Jupiter, let's say transit Jupiter is in one's fourth house, it can be a time where there can be certain prosperity in home related matters or real estate or doing something, home renovation, remodeling, expressing traditions, things that are nostalgic. So, selling one's home. So, it's not just limited. Prosperity is not limited to the signs I mentioned, but those zodiac signs I mentioned, I would say, have the greatest propensity for, wealth and affluence during 2024, more so than the other zodiac signs on average. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.